Hello everyone, I come from the planet Exakuzai, and the story you're about to hear is purely fictional, just something fun to enjoy. I hope you have a relaxing and enjoyable time listening to this story. The day I realized that Lu Jingshen had regained his memory, I was squatting in the middle of the living room. One hand was gripping the waistband of my eldest son, Luan An's pants, while the other held onto little Lu Ningning's collar. The two mischievous kids wriggled like slippery fish and darted straight under the sofa. My 7-month pregnant belly made every movement heavy and exhausting. After chasing them for only a moment, I was already panting for breath. Lu Jingshen, come help me for a second. No answer came back. I turned toward the study room. The door was slightly ajar, and inside, I could hear him speaking on the phone, very softly, very coldly. Nothing like the gentleman who, for the past 3 years, had treated me like a treasure, pouring me water, bringing me tea, caring for me with endless patience. The man inside sounded like a completely different person. The third quarter merger proposal for Lu Corporation needs to be redone. Tell the legal department to revise it. As for Zhou Mingyuan, don't worry, I already made arrangements. And also, he paused briefly, his voice lowering further. Investigate Su Niannian's background. Su Niannian, that was my name. My mind buzzed as if something had exploded inside it. He was investigating me? Why would he investigate me? Unless I slowly let go of the children and stood up. A sharp cramp tightened in my lower abdomen. I braced myself against the coffee table, my legs trembling uncontrollably. At that moment, the study door opened. Lu Jingshen stood at the doorway, backlit by the light behind him. His eyes held none of the warmth they used to, no gentle smile, no tenderness. Only a sharp, icy gaze like a predator observing its prey. Nian Nian. The way he called my name felt unbearably unfamiliar. I instinctively stepped backward. What's wrong? He walked over calmly, bent down, picked up the half-eaten baby biscuit Lu An had dropped and casually placed it back on the table. What would you like for dinner tonight? I'll cook. Then he smiled again, the same gentle smile, the same perfect husband expression he had worn every day for the past 3 years. But I had already heard that phone call, that tone, that composure, that overwhelming sense of control. That was the real Lu Jingshen, the CEO of Lu Corporation in City A, the youngest business leader to ever take control of the company, cold, ruthless, decisive. 3 years ago, after a car accident, he had lost all of his memories. And I, a tiny assistant he had never even glanced at before, had lied to him. I told him I was his wife, that we loved each other deeply, very, very deeply. So deeply that in 3 years, we had already had 2 children together, and I was pregnant with the third. But his decision is not something I can interfere with. It sounded like she was criticizing and defending him at the same time. Third, regarding the fact that you deceived him, I can pretend it never happened. I looked up. On one condition, you must return to City A and appear properly as Mrs. Lu. I froze. Stop hiding in a place like this. The more you hide, the more outsiders will look down on you. But what? Because you deceived him? She raised an eyebrow. He recovered his memory 3 months ago and pretended to be foolish for the entire 3 months. Who do you think was deceiving whom? I had no way to argue back. The person he chose is someone from the Liu family. She said, I won't stop him, but don't embarrass the Liu family either. She took out a bank card from her bag. Before returning to City A, go take care of yourself. Get your hair done, buy some clothes, take care of your skin. If you go out looking like this, people will think my son is blind. It's not for you, she interrupted me. It's for the child in your belly. She glanced down at my stomach. Since you're pregnant, use better things. I held the card speechlessly. Thank you, Auntie. Mom. Her movements paused. I told you to call me Madam Xu. Yes. She walked 2 steps away, then stopped. Next time, calling me Mom is fine too. Lu Jingchen stood at the end of the hallway. He said nothing, but for the first time, I saw him truly relax. 1 week later, we returned to City A. Not quietly, but with an entire grand convoy. Luxury cars, nannies, drivers, so extravagant, it felt like I had been reincarnated into another life. I sat in the back seat, while An and Ning Ning leaned against me on both sides, staring out the window as the low houses gradually disappeared, replaced by rows of towering skyscrapers. City A. We've arrived, Lu Jingchen said. We weren't returning to the 300-square-meter riverside penthouse. Instead, it was a secluded villa located in the most prestigious area of City A, with a front yard, back garden, flowers, greenery, and even a playground for children. When did you buy this? Last week. Wasn't last week when you were busy changing Ning Ning's diapers in that rented apartment? I bought it while changing diapers. I stared at him. He stared back at me. I gave up trying to understand the brain of a rich person. On the first day after moving into the new house, Secretary Zhou came over, President Liu, regarding the company tomorrow, but tomorrow. Secretary Zhou left with a bitter expression. After Lu Jingchen settled the 2 children down, he walked over to me. Su Nian Nian. Yes? From this moment onward, you are Mrs. Liu. I'm not... This isn't a negotiation. He took out a small box and opened it. Inside was a diamond ring, huge and dazzling, so large I doubted it would even fit my finger. I owe you this from 3 years ago, he said. Owe me what? A proper proposal. He knelt on one knee. A man, 1.87 meters tall, knelt right there in the middle of the living room of our new villa, holding up a shining diamond ring. Behind him were An and Ning Ning crawling all over the floor and my 7.5-month pregnant belly. The scene wasn't romantic at all. In fact, it was almost funny. Yet tears still rolled down my face helplessly. Marry me, he said. This time, for real. Aren't you afraid I'll deceive you again? Your deception skills are terrible. I wouldn't mind being deceived by you one more time. I laughed through my tears. Okay. He slipped the ring onto my finger, and Anne ran over and hugged his leg. Daddy, why are you kneeling? Daddy is begging Mommy. Begging for what? Begging Mommy not to run away again? And Anne thought for a moment, then suddenly knelt down too. Mommy, don't run away anymore. Ning Ning didn't understand what was happening, but seeing everyone kneeling, he also flopped onto the floor with a thud. Daddy! Mommy! I stood there while my entire family knelt neatly before me, plus one child, sprawled on the ground. The baby in my belly kicked once. Alright, The whole family was finally complete. The day news of the proposal leaked out, the elite circle of City A exploded. Not in a small way either. It shot straight to the #1 trending topic. Number: Lu Group CEO proposes to assistant who took care of him during amnesia. Number: Who is Sun Anian? Number: The truth behind Lu Jingchen's 3 years of amnesia. Countless versions of the story spread wildly online. Some people said I was manipulative and took advantage of a man with amnesia to climb the social ladder. Others called me a scheming, innocent-faced seductress. Some even called it the greatest love story of the year, more addictive than a drama series. The comment section became a battlefield. I flipped my phone face down on the table, unwilling to look anymore. Lu Jingchen picked up my phone and casually scrolled through a few comments. Does it bother you? A little. Then I'll have the PR department handle it. Handle it how? The next day, the official Lu Group account posted a statement, not a long explanation, but only one photograph. In the photo, I sat on a bench outside the hospital hallway, covered in blood-red stains, my right hand wrapped in bandages, while my left tightly gripped a medical form. It was surveillance footage from the night of the accident 3 years ago. The caption had only one sentence. This is the person who saved my life 3 years ago, Lu Jingchen. Within 10 minutes, public opinion completely reversed. Damn, so Sun Yanyan once saved Lu Jingchen's life, so she didn't deceive him, he owed her his life? This is the real story. Where can I find a husband like this? Public opinion shifted entirely within 1 day, but that was only the beginning. Soon after, even more shocking news appeared. Shen Qing was officially arrested. Charges: attempted intentional assault and embezzlement of Lu Group funds. Yes, aside from the traffic accident, during the 3 years Lu Jingchen lost his memory, she had secretly transferred over 200 million yuan from Lu Group through the Shen family's shareholder connections. As soon as the news broke, the people who once cursed me online immediately changed sides. Compared to Shen Qing nearly killing Lu Jingchen, Sun Yanyan was practically an angel. One person saved his life while the other tried to take it. Who wouldn't know which side to choose? The Shen family wasn't innocent either. Weren't they only after Lu Group through marriage alliances from the beginning? I sat at home reading these reports, feeling completely unreal. 1 month ago, I was just a supermarket cashier. Now I was trending online as the Wife of the Year candidate. This life script was absurdly unreal. After Lu Jingchen returned to the company, he became extremely busy. 3 years away from power had left countless unresolved problems in the company. Some were ordinary business leftovers, some were Shen Qing's manipulations, and others were internal employees taking advantage of his absence for personal gain. He left early and returned late every day, but he never neglected cooking for the children. No matter how late he came home, he always checked whether the children were asleep first before coming to see me. How was today's checkup? Everything's normal. The doctor said the baby is very healthy. Good. What about you? Is work going smoothly? There are a few people that need cleaning up. What do you mean? During the past 3 years, some people assumed I would never return, so they stretched their hands too far? Who? You don't need to worry about it, but I want to know. He glanced at me and hesitated slightly. Vice President Zhao Zhenhe, Finance Director Qian Haiming, and Marketing Director Ling Feng. The three of them worked together to funnel part of the company's profits into shell companies while I had amnesia. How much money? Preliminary investigations show over 400 million yuan. I inhaled sharply. Lu Jingchen, just how many people in your company wanted you gone? Now you understand why I preferred hiding in your tiny apartment instead. He had a point. Compared to colleagues constantly waiting to destroy him, being around a small assistant bold enough to trick him into marriage really was much safer. It only took Lu Jingchen 2 weeks to completely clean out the company. His methods were decisive and ruthless. Zhao Zhenhe was directly handed over to the authorities. Chen Haiming voluntarily confessed and returned the stolen assets for a lighter sentence. Lin Feng tried to resist and spread rumors claiming Lu Jingchen's mental state was unstable after 3 years of amnesia and that he was no longer fit to be CEO. During the shareholder meeting that day, Lu Jingchen projected Lin Feng's illegal transaction records with shell companies onto the giant screen. Mentally unstable, he said. Even when I had amnesia, you couldn't find any weakness. Now that I've regained my memory, do you really think you can beat me? Lin Feng was immediately escorted out by security. That week, Lu Group's stock price surged 18%. When I heard the news, I was at the hospital for a prenatal checkup. My phone buzzed non-stop with notifications. Lu Group stock skyrockets during Lu Jingchen's first week back. The king of Hell Lu has returned. 3 years later, the king returns and dominates the business world once more. I rubbed my belly. Baby, your father is out there, terrifying people again. My stomach moved slightly. The results of the ultrasound came out. It was a girl. I stared blankly at the report for a long time. A girl. The daughter I had always wanted had finally arrived. When Lu Jingchen came home that night, I handed him the ultrasound report. It's a girl. He looked at the report for a long time. Good. Just one word. But that night, he cooked 6 dishes, all my favorites. Life gradually settled into peaceful days, and Anne went to kindergarten, Ning Ning learned to walk, and my belly grew bigger every day. During the day, Lu Jingchen ruled the business world, but once home, he turned into a diaper-changing father. I had already grown used to the contrast. The wedding was scheduled for after the baby was born. Lu Jingchen said he wanted me to recover my figure and wear the wedding dress at my most beautiful. I told him he could stop bluntly, implying that I looked ugly now. He replied, "You're beautiful now too, but I want your most beautiful moment." Fine then. When I was 9 months pregnant, something happened. Shen Qing's case finally went to trial. As both victim and key witness, Lu Jingchen had to appear in court. I didn't attend, but I followed the trial updates online. Shen Qing cried hysterically in court while her lawyer tried to argue that her actions were impulsive and not premeditated attempted murder. But Lu Jingchen's legal team presented evidence showing that Shen Qing had contacted mechanics about brake systems 2 weeks before the incident. Her driver, Zhang Daqiang, had visited Lu Jingchen's parking area 3 days before the accident. Her phone even contained search history about disabling car brakes. The judge announced the verdict on the spot. Guilty of attempted intentional assault, sentenced to 7 years in prison. The embezzlement case would be handled separately. Shen Qing collapsed in court. Before being dragged away, she screamed toward the audience seats. "Lu Jingchen, just wait. The Shen family will never let you go." Lu Jingchen sat calmly in the witness seat. Without the slightest change, in expression. That night, after he returned home, I asked him, "Will the Shen family seek revenge?" "No." "Why?" "Because I hold more leverage against the Shen family than Shen Qing ever did. They don't dare act recklessly." "What leverage?" "Corporate espionage, bribery, tax evasion. The Shen family's so-called integrity is as fake as their reputation." I looked at him. "Lu Jingchen, did you set this trap from the beginning?" "What trap?" "Ever since you regained your memory. You deliberately didn't expose me, deliberately stayed in Nanchang, deliberately waited for Shen Qing to come to you. You were waiting for her to reveal her flaws." He fell silent briefly, not entirely. "Then, pursuing you was real, but the trap was real too." I stared at him, speechlessly. This man. From beginning to end, I thought I was controlling this deception game, but in reality, I was only a chess piece on his board. "No," he said, "pursuing me was real. So, was I a chess piece or the player?" "Are you angry?" he asked. "No." "Liar. You lied too. You deceived me for 3 years. You deceived me first. Fine then, we're even." I grabbed the sofa cushion and threw it at him. He didn't dodge. The cushion hit his chest and dropped silently. Su Niannian. "What? Thank you. Thank you for what?" "For 3 years ago, that night when you rushed out to stop my car. If you hadn't, I wouldn't have ended up stuck with a scammer now." He smiled. Not a mocking smile or polite smile, but a smile that truly came from the bottom of his heart. "Being stuck with you is the luckiest thing in my life." My nose stung. "Stop it. I mean it." I said nothing more. At some point, An had quietly wandered out, rubbing his sleepy eyes at the doorway. "Mommy's crying again." "Mommy's not crying. Dust just got into my eyes." "There's no dust inside the house." "An, why do you talk so much? You're exactly like your father." "Daddy barely talks." "Fine. No point arguing with a 3-year-old." Days continued passing peacefully. After Shen Qing went to prison, the Shen family reduced all business activities and stopped interfering with Lu Group matters entirely. Lu Jingchen took the opportunity to buy back all of the Lu Group shares owned by the Shen family. From that point onward, Lu Group belonged entirely to him alone. Outsiders summarized the situation with 4 words. The king of Hell Lu truly lived up to his reputation. Meanwhile, my due date finally arrived. On the day I entered the delivery room, Lu Jingchen stayed beside me the entire time, wearing surgical scrubs and a mask. Only his eyes were visible. Those eyes no longer carried the image of the king of Hell Lu. They only showed extreme nervousness. I grabbed his hand. He said, "You'll hurt yourself. It's fine." I squeezed hard and scratched 5 red marks across his hand. He didn't make a single sound. Our daughter was born. Her cries echoed through the room. 3.2 kilograms. All indicators normal. When the nurse handed her over, Lu Jingchen reached out to hold her. Those hands that had signed countless billion-dollar contracts trembled while holding his daughter. "She's so tiny," he whispered. "You were that tiny when you were born too." He lowered his head to look at the little girl in his arms. Her tiny hand reached out from the blanket and tightly gripped his finger. Lu Jingchen froze. Then I saw it, Lu Jingchen crying. No sound, no change in expression, only silent tears rolling down his face. I pretended not to notice, letting him keep some dignity. After all, he was still the king of Hell Lu. Our daughter was named Lu Xinian, Zi meaning to know, and Nian taken from the Nian in my name. Its meaning was to know and cherish the goodness of her mother. Lu Jingchen chose the name. I thought it was pretty good. The day we were discharged from the hospital was incredibly extravagant. 2 nanny cars, 1 ambulance, plus 4 bodyguards. I held Zhinian in the car, while Anan and Ningning crowded beside her, staring at their baby sister. She's ugly, Anan complained. You were uglier when you were born, I replied, and Anne protested. No way. When you were born, you looked like a wrinkled monkey. I said, Mommy's lying. Mommy never lies. Lu Jingchen, sitting in the front seat, let out a laugh. I glared at him, and he immediately suppressed his expression. When we arrived back at the villa, the nanny and caregivers had already prepared everything. During my confinement period, Lu Jingchen rejected every meeting except the most important ones. Even while listening to work reports over the phone, he carried Zhinian in one arm. There's a problem with the third quarter report. The data doesn't match. Recalculate it and submit it next Monday. Zhinian made a tiny sound in his arms. He immediately hung up. What's wrong? Hungry? He handed our daughter over to me. While I breastfed her, he sat beside me with an indescribably gentle gaze. Stop staring. Staring at what? At you. If you're beautiful, why can't I look? I was left speechless by his words. This man had clearly learned from the excuses I once used to deceive him. During my confinement period, Lin Tong came to visit. The moment she walked into the villa, her mouth fell open in shock. Su Nianyan, you've seriously made it big. Made it big how? From scammer to getting reverse scammed into a real marriage? Did you write this script yourself? I shoved a piece of fruit into her mouth to stop her talking. Seriously though, Lin Tong swallowed the fruit and lowered her voice. Aren't you worried at all? Worried about what? He's recovered his memory and he's the boss of a giant company. What if one day, what if he doesn't want me anymore someday? I glanced out the window. Lu Jingchen was outside playing soccer with an An, while Ningning sat on his shoulders, pulling his hair. He won't. How can you be so sure? Because his deception skills are far better than mine. Lin Tong didn't understand. I didn't explain either. After confinement, Lu Jingchen proposed holding the wedding. How big? I asked. How big do you want it? Small is fine. Neither of us has many relatives anyway. The largest banquet hall in City A, 500 tables. I said, small. I heard your opinion. Then what? Then I decided on 500 tables. I shut up. This man had never truly asked for my opinion. While preparing for the wedding, I returned to Nancheng once. I visited the orphanage. Director Zhang was still there. Her hair had turned much grayer, and the wrinkles on her forehead had deepened. But when she saw me, she smiled exactly the same way she had over 10 years ago. Nian Nian, Auntie Zhang. I hugged her. I heard you're getting married. Is your husband good to you? Very good. That's good. That's good. Auntie Zhang, I want to donate some money to the orphanage. Oh dear, where would you get money? I placed the bank card into her hand. There are 3 million yuan in the card. It's my husband's money, but my idea. Auntie Zhang froze. Nian Nian, this is too much. It's not. Use it to renovate the building, buy new teaching equipment, and hire a couple of good teachers for the children. Tears welled in Auntie Zhang's eyes. Good child. After leaving the orphanage, Lu Jingchen's car was waiting outside. He leaned against the vehicle while waiting for me. Finish? Yes. Is 3 million enough? Yes. If it's not enough, just add more. I looked at him. When he was cold, he felt like ice, but when he was warm, it became impossible to resist him. Lu Jingchen, Did you investigate my orphanage background long ago? Yes. When? The day you interviewed at Lu Group. I froze. The interview day? That was 4 years ago. Every employee undergoes background checks before joining. Your file was the cleanest and thinnest. No parents, no relatives, no background connections. You survived alone until age 24. Then, during the interview, you were so nervous you spilled a glass of water. It flooded the table and you panicked and used your own resume to wipe it up. Your resume was soaked, but you still recited your self-introduction word for word from memory. I remembered exactly how embarrassing that day had been. I spilled water, ruined my resume, and the interview panel exchanged glances. I thought I was doomed, but I still finished my self-introduction because I had practiced it 100 times. Even if the resume was ruined, I still had to finish speaking. That day, the interview panel marked you as unsuitable, Lu Jingchen said, but I approved you anyway. Why? Because although you were nervous enough to spill water, you didn't give up. You wiped the table with your ruined resume and stood straight to continue your presentation. Someone like that will never be bad, no matter where they go. My hand tightened around the car door handle. So, you noticed me from the beginning? I noticed you, but I didn't think much of it. He opened the car door. Not until you burst into my hospital room crying and claiming to be my wife. That's when I started thinking more. He started the car. I sat in the passenger seat, watching the streets of Nanchang gradually disappear outside the window. It turned out that while I had secretly liked him for a long time without him knowing, he too had remembered me long ago without my knowledge. On our wedding day, City A was covered by a light snowfall. It was late December, the coldest period of winter. But inside the banquet hall, the heating was turned high and all 500 tables were packed with guests, business tycoons, political elites, and the Lu family's relatives and friends filled the hall. Shu Minhua sat at the main table in a wine-red evening dress with glamorous makeup, though her eyes were slightly red, and Anne wore a tiny suit and carried the ring pillow. Ning Ning wore a small vest and was responsible for falling over. He tripped after taking only 3 steps onto the red carpet. The entire hall burst into laughter. I stood in the waiting room, peeking through the crack in the door. My wedding dress was custom-made by Lu Jingchen, handcrafted French lace decorated with 3,000 Swarovski crystals. It was so heavy, I could barely walk. Are you ready? Ling Tong adjusted my train. No, then let's go. The music began. The doors opened. At the end of the red carpet stood Lu Jingchen. Black suit, white shirt, a white rose pinned to his chest. He looked at me with the same calm expression as always, but I knew he was nervous because his hand was clenched tightly into a fist. Even the king of Hell Lu gets nervous. I slowly walked toward him. Each step made the train rustle softly against the floor. 500 tables of guests watched me, yet my eyes only saw him. When I finally stood before him, he reached out his hand. I placed mine into it. His palm was warm and damp. He was sweating. I nearly laughed. The bride is very beautiful today. His voice echoed throughout the hall through the microphone. Thank you. More beautiful than during the 3 years you deceived me. The entire hall fell silent for 1 second before erupting into laughter and applause. Yes, he had just openly announced before 500 tables of guests that I had deceived him for 3 years. Honest and direct, no hiding or avoiding it. He was the CEO who had been tricked into marriage by his assistant for 3 years, and he was also the man who pretended to be foolish the entire time. I agree, he said first, before the host even began asking questions. Sir, I know what you're going to ask. I agree. The host looked at me helplessly and smiled awkwardly. Then, what about the bride? I looked at him. The man who had once lain in a hospital bed 3 years ago wrapped in bandages. The man who had cooperated with my act as the perfect husband for 3 years. The man who cooked, raised children, and drank water from a pleasant gold mug in a tiny one-bedroom apartment in Nanjing. I agreed too. Thunderous applause erupted, and Anne rushed over carrying the ring pillow. Daddy, the ring! Ningning tripped again. Xingyan slept peacefully in the nanny's arms. Lu Jingchen placed another ring on my finger, not the proposal ring. This one was even bigger. How many rings did you buy? You'll find out later. What does that mean? 1 every year? I was speechless again. Halfway through the wedding, an incident occurred. Someone arrived uninvited. It was Madame Shen, Shen Qing's mother, dressed entirely in black, as though attending a funeral instead of a wedding. Security stopped her, but she shouted loudly from outside. Lu Jingchen, you destroyed my daughter's entire life. Do you think you can escape? The entire hall fell silent. Lu Jingchen released my hand and walked toward the entrance. My heart tightened. He stopped directly in front of Madame Shen. Madame Shen, today is my wedding day. The court has already ruled on your daughter's case. I also chose not to pursue your family's liability regarding the 200 million yuan embezzled from Lu Group. I already showed the Shen family respect. Now please show me the same respect. Madame Shen trembled violently. You, security, escort Madame Shen away. If she appears within 1 kilometer of this place again, call the police. Security stepped forward and firmly escorted her away. Lu Jingchen returned to my side and held my hand again. Sorry you had to witness that. It's okay. It won't happen again. Okay. The wedding continued as if nothing had happened. That was Lu Jingchen. Gentle in front of me, yet a king of hell before everyone else. Married life turned out far more peaceful and happier than I imagined, and entered elementary school. His grades were average, but he excelled in sports exactly like his father. Ningning learned to run and specialized in causing chaos around the house, falling at least 3 times a day. Jingyan grew increasingly similar to me, with big eyes, round cheeks, and dimples whenever she smiled. Lu Jingchen claimed she was the prettiest among the 3 children. I told him not to say that in front of the boys. He replied that facts were facts. Anne pouted. Daddy's biased. I'm not biased. You're handsome too. Then what about Ningning? Ningning has his own unique qualities. At that exact moment, Ningning smashed his head into the corner of the coffee table and burst into tears. Unique quality, excellent impact resistance. On the business side, Lu Jingchen spent 1 year reorganizing all operations. Lu Group's market value skyrocketed from 50 billion before his amnesia to 80 billion. A finance magazine gave him an exclusive interview titled 3 Years of Amnesia, Yet the King Returns Still as King. During the interview, the reporter asked the question everyone wanted answered. President Lu, how do you view those 3 years of amnesia? His answer was reposted by countless media outlets. Those 3 years were the most important years of my life. I lost my memories, but in exchange, I gained a family. If given the choice again, I would still choose amnesia one more time. The day the magazine was published, Ling Tong called me. Su Nian, did you read it? Your husband is way too smooth with words. Even I was moved. I had already read it, but I wasn't moved because while saying those words, Lu Jingchen was sitting at home being chased around by Ning Ning trying to bite him. Ning Ning had entered his teething phase and bit everyone, including his father. Only Lu Jingchen could simultaneously be chased by his son while saying things that moved the entire internet. In our 2nd year of marriage, I made a decision. I wanted to start a business, not because I lacked money. The household card Lu Jingchen gave me had already been upgraded to a black card with no spending limit. It was because I didn't want to spend my entire life only as Mrs. Lu. I wanted my own career. What do you want to do? Lu Jingchen asked. Mother and baby products. Why? Because I've given birth to 3 children. I understand this industry's needs best. Also, many mother and baby products on the market are ridiculously overpriced. I want to create products truly worth their cost. He looked at me. Have you written a business plan? Yes. I handed him a 30-page plan. He flipped through it for 10 minutes. Your market analysis data is wrong. The birth rate statistics you cited are from 2 years ago. Huh? Your supply chain planning is too simplistic. You need at least 2 or 3 backup suppliers. Oh. Your pricing strategy could be bolder. Your target customers are middle-income families. They're price-sensitive but won't buy things that seem too cheap. You need to emphasize affordable quality, not cheapness. I hurriedly took notes. Will you help revise it? No. Why? It's your company. Revise it yourself. I can give suggestions, but I won't do it for you. Otherwise, people will say you only rely on your husband. This man really never softened his words. Soft words don't solve business problems. Fine. I spent 3 days revising it before showing him the new version. He reviewed it for another 10 minutes. All right, go register the company. Aren't you investing? Do you want me to invest? No, I'll do it myself. Where will your startup capital come from? I pulled out a bank card, the household card you gave me. I saved money over the past 3 years. He raised an eyebrow. How much? 2 million yuan. The card limit is several million a year and you only saved 2 million? I spent the rest, buying things for the children, daily expenses, donations to the orphanage. He was silent for a moment. 2 million isn't enough. A mother and baby brand needs at least 8 to 10 million in startup capital. I could seek investors. I'll lend it to you. Didn't you say you wouldn't help? A loan isn't help. Market interest rates. Official loan contract. I stared at him. Lu Jingchen, you really never accept losses. Business means never accepting losses. Consider it your first lesson. I registered my company in City A's technology district. It was called Little Nian, taken from the Nian in my name. At first, it was only me and one university intern working part-time. The office was the cheapest room in the technology district, only 20 square meters without even a reception desk. Lu Jingchen visited once. He stood outside the door looking at a tiny room smaller than the bathroom in his office. Are you sure? Yes, there's not even air conditioning. I brought my own fan. He left. 10 minutes later, a standing air conditioner arrived. Who ordered this? The delivery worker scratched his head. A man called and said, this room needed it. I texted Lu Jingchen. I already said I didn't want your help. He replied instantly, summer heat is bad for your health. This is concern from a husband to his wife, not assistance from an investor to an entrepreneur. Make the distinction clearly. Fine, I couldn't make the distinction clearly, but the air conditioner really did make the room much cooler. The first 6 months of entrepreneurship were full of difficulties. Finding manufacturers, negotiating contracts, designing packaging, building e-commerce platforms, photographing products, writing advertisements. I handled everything myself. During the day, I worked at the company, then returned home at night to care for the children. Lu Jingchen voluntarily took over most childcare duties. Focus on your work. I'll handle the children. Aren't you busy too? My company has thousands of employees helping me. Your company only has you. I almost cried again, but soon I became too busy even to cry because the product launch approached. Our first product was baby wet wipes. Why choose wet wipes? Because among all mother and baby products, they are the fastest moving consumer product with the highest repurchase rate. I found the best domestic manufacturer, used medical grade materials, yet priced them at only 1/3 the cost of imported brands. On the first sales day, we sold 37 orders. The first month, 2,000 orders. By the third month, sales exceeded 10,000. Half a year later, Little Nian baby wipes entered the top 10 best-selling mother and baby products on the e-commerce platform. Without using Lu Jingchen's network and without spending a single yuan on advertising, everything grew through reputation and returning customers. Mothers who bought the products recommended them to other parenting groups. These wipes are seriously good and cheap too. I heard the founder is also a mother of 3 who truly understands our needs. I smiled nonstop reading those comments. Lu Jingchen glanced through my sales report. Not bad. Achieving this in the first year already surpasses 90% of new brands. Can't you praise me more directly? That was praise. I want more straightforward praise. He thought for a moment. You're amazing. Yes, keep working hard. Next month's loan interest payment is due. The company became profitable in its second year. I used the profits to repay Lu Jingchen in full, principal and interest, without missing a single cent. After receiving the transfer, he texted me, received, looking forward to future cooperation. I sent him a middle finger emoji. He immediately replied with a heart emoji. Truly impossible. By the third year, Little Nian had grown from a tiny wet wipe brand into a complete mother and baby brand, selling wipes, diapers, baby bath products, and feeding utensils. Annual revenue exceeded 200 million yuan. The team expanded from only me to more than 80 employees. Our office moved from 20 square meters to an independent 2,000 square meter office building. I, Su Nianian, once a low-paid assistant, supermarket cashier, and scammer who tricked someone into marriage, had now become the founder and CEO of Little Nian. Forbes reporters came to interview me. Miss Su, many people say your success is inseparable from your husband Lu Jingchen's support. What do you think? He did support me. He lent me 8 million yuan, charged proper interest, and reminded me to repay the debt 3 times. The reporter laughed. Aside from financial support, he took care of our children for 3 years. Is that the greatest support during your entrepreneurial journey? Yes, the most priceless support in the world. After the article was published, Lu Jingchen saw the line about charging interest. That night, he sat expressionlessly on the living room sofa. What's wrong? You made me sound like a loan shark. But it's true, he stared at me resentfully. Su Nian, you've learned bad habits. Learn them from you. He had no comeback, and Anne poked his head downstairs. Are Mom and Dad fighting again? No, both of us answered simultaneously. Anne immediately retreated upstairs. After the company stabilized, the first thing I did was return to Nanchang, not the orphanage, because I had already donated several times before. Instead, I returned to the tiny supermarket where I once worked. The supermarket owner was still there. When she saw me, she nearly dropped the soda bottle in her hand. Su Nian, is that really you? Long time no see, sis. Aren't you the boss of some baby brand now? I saw you on television last time. I came to visit you. I brought an entire box of Little Nian products, 1 sample of every product. Sis, back then, you took in a pregnant stranger carrying 2 children. I'll never forget that kindness. The owner's eyes reddened. It wasn't kindness. I just felt sorry for you. Not pity, kindness. I took out an envelope. There is 300,000 yuan inside. Not repayment, but investment. Your supermarket location is excellent. With some renovation, it could become a fresh food store serving the nearby residents. If you agree, I'll help you find suppliers. The owner trembled while holding the envelope. Nian, sis, life will get better. That was what she once told me. Now I return those words to her. 5 years later, and Anne was 8 years old and in 3rd grade. His grades were average, but he always ranked first in sports like his father. Ning was 6, and in kindergarten, he no longer fell constantly. Well, actually he still did, but he stopped crying. Shinian was 4 years old and increasingly resembled me physically, but her personality was exactly like Lu Jingchen's, quiet, stubborn, and always doing whatever she wanted. When she was 3, someone teased her by asking, Jinian, what kind of man do you want to marry when you grow up? Jinian calmly replied, a rich man. Everyone present froze. Lu Jingchen looked at his daughter with indescribable expression. Who taught you that? Daddy did. Daddy said Mommy was smartest because she chose the richest man to marry. I nearly spat out my water. Lu Jingchen, what exactly are you teaching the children? That's not what I meant at all. Then what did you mean? I originally said your mother is very smart because she chose the person most suitable for her. She interpreted it as rich herself. Xinyan nodded firmly. Suitable means rich. And Anne raised his hand enthusiastically. I want to be rich too. Ning joined in. Me too. I held my forehead. This family, in the 5th year, Little Nian's annual revenue surpassed 1 billion yuan. I had established my own position in CDA's business world. I was no longer merely Lu Jingchen's wife, but Su Nian Nian, founder of Little Nian. People call me President Su or the rising phenomenon in the mother and baby industry. The media preferred sensational headlines, from marriage scammer to billionaire in 5 years. Regarding those headlines, I followed 3 principles: no denial, no explanation, and no concern. Because the truly important things were never in newspapers. They were in family life, in Ann's cheerful cries of "Mommy, I'm home from school" every afternoon, in Ning Ning's pouting face when he fell and demanded Mommy blow on the injury, in little Xingyan whispering, "Mommy, you look so beautiful today," while snuggling into my arms. In Lu Jingchen's habit of warming milk for me every night, no matter how late he came home, Shenqing was still serving her prison sentence, with 2 years remaining. I heard she learned pastry making in prison. Zhao Zhenghe and Qian Haiming were both in prison. Lin Feng left City A and started over in a small, unfamiliar city. The Shen family's business declined greatly but didn't collapse because Lu Jingchen never drove them into complete ruin. I once asked him why. He answered, "It's unnecessary. Crushing someone already at rock bottom is meaningless." Then why were you so ruthless before? Because before, I didn't have you. My ears immediately turned red again. On our 5th wedding anniversary, Lu Jingchen gave me a gift. Not a ring, although he really did give me one every year. It was a photo album. I opened the first page. A slightly blurry surveillance photo showed a ponytailed girl sitting in the darkest corner of Lu Group's administrative office eating boxed lunch. My first day at work, second page. A company Christmas gift exchange photo. In the back row, a girl stood on tiptoe, stretching her neck forward. It was me secretly looking at him. Third page. Hospital hallway surveillance footage from the accident night. Covered in injuries, I tightly held his hand as though letting go meant losing everything. The later pages. Me holding newborn and Anne while exhausted asleep beside the bed. Me sitting on the floor changing Ning Ning's diapers with messy hair. Me heavily pregnant scanning products at the supermarket cashier counter. Me standing alone at Nancheng Station pushing a stroller among the crowd, all of them candid photos. Not a single picture included him. Yet every photo clearly revealed one thing. He had always been there watching me from beginning to end. When did you start collecting these? My voice trembled. Some came from surveillance footage. The rest, I had people secretly follow you later. What about the train station photo? By the time I arrived, your train had already left. I chased after it for over 200 kilometers before Secretary Zhou called me back midway because of Shenqing's matter. I froze. You chased after the train? Yes. How? By car. On the highway. I stared at him in disbelief. A person driving a car chasing after a train for over 200 kilometers. Are you insane? Probably. What if something happened? It wouldn't. He answered calmly, "My driving skills are steady enough. Besides," he looked at me, "last time I got into an accident, someone risked her life to save me. If something really happened this time, it would still have been worth it." I flipped to the final page. It was our wedding photo. I wore a white wedding dress. He held my hand. Hundreds of banquet tables filled the background. In the corner was a handwritten sentence in his handwriting. "Su Nian Nian, you deceived me for 3 years. I'll deceive you for an entire lifetime." I closed the album while tears fell onto the cover. Stop talking nonsense. It's true. I looked up at him. Standing beneath the lights, he looked exactly like he did in that hospital room years ago. Still capable of making hearts race at first sight, Lu Jingchen, I'm here. If we return to that moment when you woke up and asked me, "Who are you?" I looked at him. I would still give the same answer. What answer? I'm your wife. He laughed softly and stepped forward to pull me into his embrace, resting his chin lightly against my hair. I knew it. Suddenly, loud footsteps thundered down the stairs. Mom and Dad are hugging. Hug us too. The 3 children rushed over and squeezed between us. The house instantly became noisy with laughter and chaos, completely different from the cold silence of that hospital room years ago. But this was real. This was life, a life that I had exchanged for with a single lie.